Well, as we know, dozens of folks voiced outrage in front of Allentown City Hall today. This is an investigation that is continuing into an item resembling a noose that was reportedly found on a city employee's desk. And our Nikki Dementri is got the latest now. She's in Lehigh County with reaction from the city and community leaders about this investigation.
When Black lives are under attack, what do? Stand up, fight back.
A call for action and fight for change.
We will not be silenced.
Community members and leaders made their voices heard in front of Allentown City Hall Monday afternoon.
Just to think that people have to go to work in fear for their lives.
Since Friday, Allentown police continue to investigate an item resembling a noose found on a city employee's desk.
This egregious act is not just an affront to one individual, but it is an attack on the entire community.
Several spoke during a rally calling for transparency, prevention, and an immediate federal investigation among a list of demands. This incident, community members note, is not the first racial discrimination issue City Hall has dealt with. Josie Lopez is a close friend of the victim.
They're always a community leader, always pushing for equality. They might be bruised right now, but they are not broken.
The victim is not being named due to safety concerns.
Our colleague was threatened. This was an act of terror. This was a hate crime.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. So yet again, we got to talk about another race hoax that shows that the demand for racism in this country is much higher than the supply, okay? For a country that is supposed to be a white supremacist country, right, according to some of the woke revolutionaries, and is systemically racist against black people. It's so tough. It's so hard. Okay. Racism is everywhere, right? It seems to be very difficult for these individuals to find legitimate instances of actual racism, because a vast majority of the so-called racism that race hustlers like Roland Martin complain about are just petty instances of microaggressions that black people don't like. Like, for example, when you have a white man ask somebody like Roland Martin, who is wearing his college paraphernalia around, if he's a fan or if he is an athlete, okay, or if he played for the school, okay, yeah, he thinks that that is racism, right? That is what black people have to deal with on a day-to-day basis when it comes to racism. Now, when it comes to the most serious accusations of racism, a vast majority of those are hoaxes, right? They're hoaxes. They're made up, okay? Because it's just not that much of it out there, to be honest with you. And again, this is why you have stories like this involving a city employee out of Allentown, Pennsylvania, okay? The city employee, whose name is Latasha Brown. As you guys can see here, this is a city employee. I guess she thought it'd be a good idea to put a noose on her desk, to plant a noose on her desk, and then to turn around and to boohoo, whine, and cry racism, right? Hate and bigotry. As you guys saw at the beginning of this video, you had a lot of the woke revolutionaries protesting, talking about how this is a hate crime, okay? And, you know, they were doing their whole BLM protests and stuff like that. Just to find out that the perpetrator was not some flaming white racist. No. It actually was this woman, right? The accuser actually did this to herself, okay? And the reason why we know this is because the police did a DNA test of everybody in the office at the time in which the incident occurred, okay? And the only DNA that was on the news was hers. So therefore, just, you know, using some common sense and basic logic, the only person that could have put the noose there was her, okay? Also, she's a member of the school board, okay, in that area as well, too. And I want to go ahead and play a clip of her basically running for school board so people can get a feel of this individual. And then I'm going to play a clip from the police and them talking about this situation, because she has now been charged over faking a hate crime against herself. Take a look.
My name is Latasha Brown, and I am a candidate for the Allentown School Board Director. Although there are many pressing issues during this race, what troubles me the most is that our board is not united. I see a divide between the decisions our board make and the needs of our students and community. My goal as a school board director is to not only be transparent, but it's also to be the ears of our community and to translate their voices into actions. When it comes to leadership, We must collectively work together to figure out what the issues are and then find potential solutions to the issues. Select the best solution for the issue and then implement a plan to effectively resolve the issues.
Yeah, so let's get into the police and what they have to say about this incident.
Good afternoon. My name is Charles Roca. I'm the Chief of Police of Allentown. I'm joined at the podium by Captain Steve Bilkovitz and Detective Harold Bonser of our Criminal Investigations Division. The purpose of this press conference is to provide an update regarding the Noose investigation. I want to take a moment to thank the following agencies who assisted in this case: the Lehigh County District Attorney's Office, the Pennsylvania State Police Crime Lab, and the Federal Bureau of Investigation. The Allentown Police Department conducted a thorough investigation, including interviews of persons, analysis of evidence, and consultation with the District Attorney's Office of Lehigh County. As a result of the subsequent investigation, LaTarsha Brown was charged with tampering with or fabricating physical evidence, a misdemeanor of the 2nd degree, and false reports to law enforcement, a misdemeanor of the 3rd degree. As in every criminal case, the fact that a warrant has been issued or a complaint has been filed is merely an accusation. The defendant is presumed innocent until and unless proven guilty in a court of law. I'm now going to ask Captain Milkovich to provide a summation of this investigation.
Good afternoon, everybody. Captain Milkovich, Criminal Investigations Division. On January 10, 2025, at approximately 7:11 a.m., Allentown City employee LaTarsha Brown arrived at her office on the 3rd floor of City Hall. At approximately 7:38 a.m., Ms. Brown notified the Allentown Police Department that she discovered what she believed to be a noose on her desk upon arriving at work. Officers assigned to the Community Outreach Unit, Crime Scene Identification Unit, and Criminal Investigations Unit responded, initiating a criminal investigation to identify the individual responsible for placing the noose on Ms. Brown's desk. During the investigation, video surveillance and building access control records were reviewed to identify city employees present on the 3rd floor of City Hall between the time Ms. Brown left for work on the afternoon of January 9, 2025, and her arrival on the morning of January 10th. Those employees were interviewed. Each was asked if they would provide a buccal swab for DNA testing if needed. Every employee agreed, except for Ms. Brown.
Yeah, because she did it, right? I mean, let's be real. They're saying that, oh, well, you know, she's being charged. It's merely an accusation. It doesn't mean that she's guilty. But let's be real. If they didn't think that she was guilty, they wouldn't be charging her. Okay, they're charging her because they know that she's guilty. They're just going through the formalities right now. But again, I mean, it's pretty obvious that this woman did this. Now, again, my question is the motivation, right? Maybe, again, this woman is trying to, I don't know, run for higher office or something like that. She seems to be active in the community, so she's trying to paint herself as some type of victim of racism, okay, that the white man is after her. And it seems to have backfired. And this happens time and time again when it comes to these alleged instances of racism. Okay, why are these things, why are they most likely hoaxes? Well, it's a very simple reason. It's because the white man does not have time to be doing silly stuff like this to black folks, right? I mean, it's very simple stuff. I don't think people understand, right? I do not believe that the average white man goes out of his way to be like, you know what, I'm just going to make a black person feel real bad today, right? I'm going to do something racist towards a black person. Again, contrary to popular belief, I don't think that black people are on the minds of the white man like that. Even the ones that are racist, right? Even the racist ones, I just don't think they go out of their way to harass black folks, right? I think more so than anything, they're like, you know what, I want to stay as far away as possible from black people, right? So, you know, again, to me, none of this ever really makes sense, right? Logically speaking, okay, in regards to the motivations behind this. Again, we all remember the story about Juicy Smollett in Chicago, which, by the way, he got off, okay? Not because he didn't stage a hate crime against himself, but because the Supreme Court in Illinois ruled that him being recharged after his initial charges were dropped is a violation of his due process rights, right? So again, it's more of some procedural and administrative stuff rather than whether or not Juicy Smollett is innocent. But I mean, come on, everybody knew from the beginning, everybody with common sense, that it made zero sense, zero logical sense, that some MAGA hat wearing Trump supporters would try to beat up and find Juicy Smollett in the middle of Chicago. Like, it doesn't even make sense, right? It made no sense whatsoever from the beginning, okay? Made no sense. So, you know, I think stories like this are similar in the sense that they just don't make sense, right? It just wasn't believable at the beginning. And, you know, unfortunately, you got people that will fall victim to this type of stuff, right? Again, as you guys saw at the beginning of this video, you had the woke activists out there boohoo, whine, and cry. And it's like, how do y'all keep falling for this, right? If you use your common sense, you won't fall for this stuff. But hey, you know, when you're liberal and you're a race hustler, then, you know, you are likely to lack common sense. And you're not going to do the critical thinking that is needed when trying to evaluate if these situations are actually what they appear to be, okay?
Initially cooperative, Ms. Brown later requested that the investigation be discontinued. The Noose was submitted to the Pennsylvania State Police Crime Lab for DNA testing on January 14, 2025. On January 24, 2025, a search warrant was approved by the Lehigh County District Attorney's Office for Ms. Brown's DNA, and a DNA sample was obtained that same day. On January 27, 2025, Ms. Brown's buccal swab was submitted to the Bethlehem Regional Crime Lab of the Pennsylvania State Police for comparison with DNA profiles recovered from the Noose. On March 10, 2025, the Forensic DNA Division of the Pennsylvania State Police issued a written report indicating that Ms. Brown's DNA matched the DNA profile obtained from the swabs of both the outer surface and inner knotted portion of the Noose after it was taken apart. No other person's DNA profiles found on the evidentiary items involved in this investigation. As a result of this investigation earlier today, Detective Harold Bonds of the Allentown Police Department filed charges against LaTarsha Brown at District Court 31-2-01 for the criminal offenses outlined earlier by Chief Roca. Thank you.
Yeah, and she should be punished to the full extent of the law, okay? 10 years minimum, right? 10 years minimum. Hard time, okay? Hard time for faking this hate crime, okay? She should be punished to the fullest extent of the law to send a message, to set an example for those who want to try to elevate their careers by staging hate crimes against themselves, right? And boohoo, whine, and crime racism, because ultimately, at the end of the day, these fake hate crimes do nothing but to make our country more divided along racial lines, even though, again, a lot of this racism is fake and is made up. It just creates more racial hatred and division. And again, this is why there must be severe consequences and accountability so that individuals understand that, hey, this isn't going to work out well for you in the future, right? Especially if you do something amateurish like this. I mean, this is completely amateurish. She certainly is not smart enough to be working for the city, okay, or to be on anybody's school board if she's staging fake hate crimes like this. I mean, this is, again, not good at all, right? I mean, it was clear and obvious that they were going to bust her for it, right? But again, she didn't think through it. She decided to do it anyways. And, you know, hey, then she has to face the consequences. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.